Hello, hello. I'll wait for some more people in. Come back in, cause I clicked off. I forgot to put the caption, so I had to do that. Hello, hello. Okay, so tonight's conversation is I'm a man, let me lead, and why many women are not, um, they really not with it. I mean, they have a problem with it. So, um, we gonna get into it. So, look, I have been looking at all of these podcasts, even the conversations that I've had with different people, but looking at a lot of these podcasts, it's a lot of um, okay, it's a lot of dysfunction going on, but between relationships, like men and women. Like women think one thing, men think another thing, and ain't nobody connecting. But the one thing that I have noticed is that a lot of men are saying, let me lead. Why she not letting me lead? And there is there's various reasons for that, because everybody has different upbringing. Some women haven't seen, a male role model in the house, just like me, and haven't seen that male role model. So it doesn't work well when you're trying to be in a relationship, because you don't know what you should and should not be doing. Like, you kind of navigating it, and sometimes you free falling. It's like, okay, let me see. But after trial and error, you should be able to have some type of grasp on how you want to date, and how you would rather navigate it, who you want, like who's your ideal person, and all of that kind of stuff. Like, you should have an idea of that. But that's not always the case with everybody. I think you should, but a lot of people, I think, don't learn the lesson that comes with dating. Because there's a lesson to be learned when you date or have been married and it didn't work, or I'm not gonna say didn't work, it didn't go the way that you planned. So now you're like, okay, you're moving on, but there's a lesson to be learned when you have moved on from that person. So I took some notes because I have a few things that I just noted from different conversations. Um, the one thing that I think that gets men confused is the fact that I don't know if a lot of men really understand um, what the role of women, like what role they've taken on today. So, like, today's women are the providers. They are the heads of households, caretakers, boss, at work, own their own businesses, and has acquired probably a lot of things before she gets married, because there are a lot of single women. So whatever she's doing prior to marriage, right? So these were things that back in the day, let me turn this light down. It's a little bright. Looking a little ghostly. That's better. All right. So back in the day, a lot of women had to rely on men for a lot of things that they needed to obtain, but today that's not true. And also, um, there are women who are making a good living for themselves. So now at this point, she's looking, because just think about it. In order to have a household, you got to be able to lead. You got to direct people to where they need to be, discipline them. If you got kids, you have to do a whole lot of different things. Hello, if you are a single woman, right? So she's doing all of these different things. So when she was ready to date, she wants a man that is able to do the same thing as far as leading in leadership. Now you got women that are over the top with the extra stuff. We're not talking about them. We're talking about what a woman that has her head on straight, what she's looking for. And she's pretty much looking for him to be able to lead and direct the household. So if a man is uncertain, he don't know where he's going, he can't tell her what he wants to do, there's no focus. A lot of the times a woman is like, okay, so what's going on here? Because she's already doing that. She's already taken on that position, which she wouldn't necessarily have to have had she already had a man that was protecting, providing, and doing all those things. She wouldn't necessarily have to take on that role. But if she's a single woman in 2022, she's taking on that role, even if she works in corporate, because corporate requires women to be dominant, women to take charge. And I don't think that a lot of men are understanding that the trajectory of how females have to conduct themselves, like, it's going in a different direction than what it was before, because society is making her dominant, right? They're making her have to do all of these different things in order to get ahead, or in order to provide, and all these different things. So understanding that factor, what is the role of a man? So generally speaking, he is supposed to be the head of a household. He is supposed to be the protection of the household. He is supposed to be providing, but most of all, he's supposed to have guidance and leadership. And women are looking for that. They are really needing that. It's very necessary for men to actually step into these roles, because when they don't, it's like, okay, well, what do I need to date for? Or what do I need a husband for if he's not going to be that? So that's very necessary. Like, for a man to tell you, okay, what we're doing, where we're going, what the outlook of this relationship is, if it's a relationship or whether it's a situationship. Just being intentional about how he's moving, how he's doing things is very necessary. So the other thing that I noted was, I know that there are women who, generally speaking, get into it with men because they have not had a male role model, whatever you want to call it. There are women who are just not going to get along with a man. We're not really talking about them, even though those are issues all in itself, because it usually goes back to, like, what is her relationship like with her father? If she don't have a relationship with her father, she's not going, unless she's intentional about being different, about how she goes about her relationship with a man, whether it be friendship, whether it be dating. 9 times out of 10, she's not going to see him in the role he's in, like the role he's supposed to be in. She's going to be like dominant, taking over, all types of disrespectful. But we're not really going to go into that right now. But I think that this conversation is really necessary because men are trying to figure out what's going on. They have all of these assumptions on, what is happening with women. Like, okay, I talked to this woman, I was being nice to her, now she dogged me. Or like, I was doing X, Y, and Z, I didn't get respect for that, or I didn't, feel appreciated for that. All these different things. Or, she played me, like completely played me. And so a lot of times you all don't want to be vulnerable and have these conversations because it makes you look, weak to some. I think the conversation needs to be had though, because there's a problem. There's clearly a problem that nobody wants to address. And it needs to be addressed. So what did you all have any questions before, or anything you wanted to add before I keep going? You can put it in the chat. I've been having these conversations about a year. You can go on my YouTube channel. It's Crown Convos with Tiana Nichelle, and you can look at all of the different conversations, from mental health to dating to marriage to life conversations. All of that is up on my YouTube channel, and you can also click the link in my bio in order to get to my YouTube channel. But back to this conversation. So let's just have a candid, open conversation about what is really going on, what people are really thinking, maybe somebody's experience. I know that I was listening to the clip that I posted with B. Simone, and the girl gives an example of getting in a car. Her guy picks her up, she gets in the car with him, and she's like, okay, where we going? And this is a real good example of why women be getting a little upset, but I'm gonna go into it. So she says where we're going, and he's like, oh, we just ride, and we just, and she like, what? And so it's like he don't have no direction at all. He doesn't have anywhere that he's gonna take her. And she like, well, why are we in this car? Like, okay, let me out, because you obviously don't have a plan. I canceled what I was doing in order to be with you, and you don't have a clear plan on where we going. That really aggravates a woman, because if she has plans with her friends and all of these different things, and she cancels all her plans to spend time with you, that means that she's making you a priority. So in return, if she's making you a priority, then you should have a plan on where you're going to take her, what you're going to do with her. If it's from beginning to end, it should be some type of a plan, so that she knows, okay, he's a leader. He knows what to do. He knows how to go about things. He already had this plan. Now, granted, every woman may not like everything. That's not the point. The point is to just have something planned. And I think that because people go based off of their past experiences, and I'm going to just speak to guys, you go off your past experiences of who you've been dating, and maybe those people were a little bit difficult or whatever the case may be, but you have to treat people on a situational basis. Women have to do it too, but because I'm talking about men, I'm going to address men. You have to date people on a situational basis, meaning case by case. So this person did this, you leave that where that person is. Don't take that into the new, with the new boo that didn't do that. Like, let all that go. And you starting fresh. Like, new boo, new rules, new whatever, however you want to do it. So dismiss all of the stuff from before, so that you can really get to know that person and really be in tune with that person, if that's where you want to be. Because there are a lot of men saying, I want to be married. There are a lot of women saying, I want to be married. But how can both be married if they're not willing to see one another and see where each other is and come to some type of common ground in order to have a marriage, in order to get to that point. So that is really the goal. Like, if you're a guy that wants to be married, date her, court her. You know, if I'ma just say this, if you are, or did in the past, one who spent money on dates, right? You spent money and it didn't work out, so you don't want to spend money on a date. Take her on a coffee date. A mature woman is going to be okay with the first date being a coffee date. Why? Because she understands that we're just getting to know one another. So this is, okay, the icebreaker. I'm getting to know you. We're going to have a conversation, you know, and we're going to see if we kind of gel well. Date 2, if she make it past date 1, or if he make it past date 1, okay, date 2. So now with date 2, you know, do something else. Do something but upgrade it, right? So do a little bit more. Actually take her out to dinner. See how she responds to that. I'm not saying going to the most expensive restaurant, but I'm saying go somewhere nice where you can actually sit down and have a conversation. Not Wingstop, not none of that. Just go somewhere that's decent, where you both can look nice, look presentable, and have a conversation. So, and just, you know, see where it goes. See if you really digging each other. You made it past the first date, now date 2. Okay. So then slowly and gradually actually put yourself in a position to assess what's going on. That's the other part that both don't really do, is assess what's going on. See, you know, what her wants are, her dreams are. See where her head is. If you are looking to settle down, see if that's where her head is too. If she is in that position where she wants to be a wife or be a mom or whatever the case may be, find out about that person. Ask questions. I know that a lot of men do not ask questions, and that is why you all are confused, because you're not asking the questions. If you ask questions, you can get answers on what's really going on. And so, because sometimes women will just tell you, like, a lot of women are very vocal, verbal. They'll just say where they are, what they want. You will have a woman that comes flat out like, I'm trying to get married. She ready to get married tomorrow. Like, you know, that one. But there are some who need, you know, for you to ask the questions. They want to feel like, okay, you're interested in what they got going on. And women do the same thing. Talk to him, have a conversation. Don't make it like an interview where, you know, you asking 100 million questions, but ask him what his interests are. You know, find out where his head is. Okay, what do you plan on, you know, eventually? Say eventually, because some of y'all be out here talking about, let's, you know, you want to get married, and then when he say yeah, y'all be thinking he want to get married to you tomorrow. That is not what he said. But just find out where his head is. Date 2, y'all can have a little bit more of an intimate conversation. Date 1, it's just general. Just, you know, what you got going on. You know, you like your job? Do you have kids? That type of stuff. That's date 1. Date 2 is a little bit more intimate, kind of trying to see what a person's head really is and get a feel for him. But you will be able to tell by the 3rd date. You should be able to know whether or not that person is the person, like, that you would want to go further with. Because if you're really paying attention, they'll tell you a lot with their body language, how they communicate. Even pay attention to how they communicate when they're not on dates with you. Are they sending you the good morning text messages? Are they asking you about your day? Are they really, like, in tune with or wanting to know more about you? So that part. That's very important. Very important to pay attention to that. But the thing that I really want to tap on is the reason why a lot of women are just really having a hard time is because there are a lot of men who are not assertive in their role. They do not have a clear direction of their life path. And that is problematic, especially for a woman that's been planning her life since she was a little girl. And I'm going to just say this, even speaking from my own experience of dating. I have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, N, O, P, right? So I have always had a plan. Then if one plan did not pan out, I had another plan to fall back on. That's just how I'm wired, right? Everybody not wired like that, but there's quite a few women that are wired like how I'm wired. But for a woman that's had a plan for many, many years, she expects a man to have a plan for his life, know what he wants to do, especially if they in their 30s. In your 20s, by 30 and 40, you should already have it set in your mind what you're doing. It shouldn't be no beating around the bush trying to figure it out. Now, if you have deep down things like you always wanted to be this, or you always wanted, let's just say you always wanted to own a business, you always wanted to explore maybe being an engineer, or maybe being some type of technician, or whatever the case may be, something with IT or software, or maybe you wanted to explore a different career path. That's different. It's not the same. If you already have a path on where you were going and you followed that path, but deep down inside there was something else you want to do, that's different. It's not the same. But when you don't know and you just flat out like, I'm out here free falling and winging it, a woman that's got a plan does not want to be with somebody that don't have a plan. Like, you've got to have a plan. And if you need direction, because I'll say, I know that there are men that don't have a plan because they're just becoming aware of who they are. There are some men like that. But if you are that man, then you should not be dating. If you're not aware of who you are, there's no way that you can lead a family, because it takes much more than just being with somebody to lead them. Because you're supposed to tell a family, okay, this is the goal, this is what we're doing, this is how we operating, or saying, okay, we not operating like this. This is what we're gonna do. This is the game plan. You supposed to you the boss around these parts. You supposed to have the outline, the play-by-play. Like, if this was football, you got the playbook. You supposed to give directions, right? So if you're not giving the instructions on the plays, then how is your woman or your co-star or your assistant coach or whatever you want to put it, whatever works for you, how is she supposed to know what to do? If you steady dropping the ball or you don't have any answers for her, she's gonna be like, well, I got to do it myself, because obviously he don't know what's going on. If every time she asks you something and you say, I don't know is not an answer that's acceptable, when there should be a plan. I don't know is an answer, but it's not an acceptable one, especially when she needs you to step up and lead and to be in your role and to operate in that. Like, you should have an answer. And if you feel like, okay, well, if I say this, she might feel X, Y, and Z, that's better than not saying nothing at all. She can feel X, Y, and Z. But as long as you're not rude or disrespectful, just say what it is. Like, all of that is too much tiptoeing around. Like, it's too many guys out here tiptoeing around, too many women out here tiptoeing around, instead of just getting out what it is that they feel or what's going on, or in fear of not being accepted by their partner or whoever they're dating. So that is a major issue. But for a man, you really have to be decisive, because you're not giving her anything to follow. And so if you want a good woman that has a plan, that has a head on her shoulders, knows how to, if you are aware if something happens to you, and men need to really pay attention to this, you're not always going to be in your right state of mind, body, health, whatever. You're going to have times where you're down, maybe not feeling well. Something could happen, something traumatic to you. You don't know. I'm not saying that it will. I'm saying that it's a possibility, especially if you are in a relationship with somebody and it's long term. They probably will see you in every state possible, right? So when you're talking about a partner, she's going to see you when you're at your worst, and she's going to see you when you're at your best. But you want somebody that can handle the affairs while you are going through whatever it is. So let's just say, you're in a hospital or something for some type of surgery. She got the household, and you got peace of mind, and she got it because she has direction, or you have given her instructions on what to do or certain things. That part. But you want somebody that can actually carry out tasks, that can be an executor. And women who have the planning ability usually are great executors in a lot of areas of their life. So you want that, though. You want her to be able to handle your affairs. Let's just say, because there are a lot of things that are happening where people, are getting sick and going through different life changes where they're not in their right state of mind and things like that. You want somebody that'll be able to take over whatever affairs you have. Like if you have, a business yourself, or if you have some type of accounts and things need to be paid out of that account, you want somebody that is able to take care of that. You don't want somebody that is a ditz. I'm just gonna say it. Ditzy. That don't have that capacity to handle anything. But you gotta bring it. Like, if you don't want that, you got to bring your A game when you talking about dating somebody, and especially when you talking about having a wife. There's like a lot of conversations that's going on that I hear, with men saying, "Oh, well, women just damaged, they just this, they just that." Yes, true enough, there are a lot of damaged women, just like there are a lot of damaged men. But all in all, that doesn't take away from the role that you're supposed to be playing. And you cannot expect her to lead when you're not giving her anything to work with. Just because you're a man does not make you a leader or a husband. Just like she being a woman does not make her, a wife. Like a good wife material. There are women out here who will make horrible wives. Like, everybody ain't cut out for it. But if you're looking for somebody that is cut out for it, that means you got to come with your A game. You have to know who you are, what you want, and all of those different things. Now, true enough, it's possible that you could have come to this conclusion later on, because we all know that men develop later than women. Like, girls develop, it's the other way around. Though I did say that right. Men develop later than women. Right. Just like girls, they always excel in language, speech and language, earlier than boys. Boys take a little bit longer. Boys are and I would say this because I was a teacher. Girls have expressive language with their words. Boys' expressive language is with their hands and their movements. So most times boys are in their heads and they just do all of these different things. They can't explain it because the language is in their head. It just hasn't come out yet. And so, but what I will say is boys and girls are truly raised differently. So this stuff starts when they're young, because if boys are not given the capacity to communicate when they're boys, like men when they're boys, then they're not going to be able to communicate as men unless they have done the work in order to become communicators. Women have to stop thinking that men just automatically know how to communicate. They should, and they really should. Men should know how to communicate, but every man does not have that ability because he was not born with that ability. And that's something that he has to be intentional about, because it's just not a trait of a man to communicate his feelings, and to do the things generally that women do. Men and women operate and think totally different. And I'm pretty sure that most of you all know that from your own experiences. But you can't expect someone to, do exactly what you do. But to my point in this conversation, men, you have to step it up. You got to lead. You got to give women something to work with. Because if you are not leading, and showing her, and we generally go based on the dates. Like, if he starts off being all confused and asking him 100 million questions on where we want to go, we be like, okay, he can't make a decision. No, that's okay. But for a man that can, and I've dated guys that can, like they could, like they made plans from A to Z. And I loved it because it showed me, okay, he's a man with a plan. He knows where his life is going. He knows what he wants. A lot of those men know what they want. They're probably working in the field that they want to work in, or whatever the case may be. Those men that I have experienced are already at the point where they have been in their careers. They have accomplished some things and they know exactly what it is they want. That's a wonderful thing. Too bad during that time that I was dating them, I was just like, whatever. I wasn't at the point where I wanted to like settle down, or I went through a period where I didn't want to be married and all of that. So that, for me, is the reason why I didn't do it. Like, that's the reason why, because I wasn't the little girl that was fantasizing about it. Every woman is different. Now, I think about it now, but if it happens, it happens. If it don't, because I'm a little bit older, not too old, still in my 30s, but I just want somebody I can gel with. We're completely on the same page. We're going in the same direction. I'm not, asking for a gazillion million things. I have my mental, checks. But if it happened, it happened. If it don't, oh well. I'm not dwelling on that because that was something I didn't want from the beginning. So I can't be like, yeah, I gotta have it now. I'm okay with me being and doing, But for those who are really like out there trying to get booed up and all of that kind of stuff, I can say from my experience, because I have been engaged and proposed to on countless occasions. I've said it repeatedly. Yeah, a lot. I'm just telling you from my own experience that a woman wants a man that has direction. For me, um, that is very much so a clear indicator of he will know how to lead her, and if they get married, their family. He will be able to make decisions, and she, in turn, can operate in her feminine energy. That's the other part. I talked about this before when I specifically talked about relationship and dating roles, you know, a man's role, a woman's role. I won't get off into that, but it is on my YouTube channel, Crown Convos. But what I want to say is, if a man is not operating from a place of leadership, then a woman can't be in her feminine energy. Like, she can't be uh, feminine and girly, and you know, it just don't work like that, because now you're forcing her to make decisions that you should be making. And a lot of times women don't. There are a lot of women that don't want to do it. They don't want to make the decision when there's a man present. So that's why they ask. Like, you will have a woman, and men, I don't think, understand that. Like, if a woman has her own house, or she stays by herself, that means she's paying all of her bills. Nobody is providing her life for her. She generally wants a man that can make decisions. And if that man can't make decisions, then you are forcing her to step out of her feminine energy and make the decisions for the both of you. But then men will get mad and say, okay, well, she's not letting me lead or be a man. Well, what are you leading? She already asked you. She asked you clearly, what do you want to do? Okay, this happened. What are we going to do? She was looking to you to actually give her a clear direction on where you all should be going with whatever the situation is. And then you give her nothing. It's crickets. So then she's like, okay, well, then I need to come up with a plan, because I'm not just going to sit here and we got to do X, Y, and Z. You know, the clock is ticking. And so you make her be that way when you're not decisive. So being decisive and having the ability to lead goes a long way, because then she can be happier. She can be more secure. The other part is, when you lead and you able to make decisions, you help her to be secure in her femininity. She can't feel secure in her femininity if she constantly has to, you know, be the one to make the plays. Like, she got to give, you know, the play-by-play on what everybody's supposed to be doing. You know, she has to delegate all of these different tasks and all of this different stuff. Like, a lot of women don't want to do that. They do it because we have to. As women, we have to, or ain't nobody else gonna do it. But that ain't what most women want. They want a man that has his head on straight, that has a clear vision, knows what he wants. The other part is, when a man knows what he wants, and when he gives direction, I don't know. Let's see. Hello? Okay. So anyway, hello. Um, so if a man knows what he wants and he gives clear direction, um, about what he wants, one, we already know from what I said before, a woman's going to be able to operate in her energy. She's going to feel secure in her feminine energy, but she's going to also be able to multiply whatever that man wants. And that is actually the best thing um, the female, a healthy female, I'm just gonna say, is that if a man has a clear vision, the ability to lead, and he tells this woman, look, this is what I want for us to do. I looked at this, whatever, and I feel like this is a good move for us. And then she says, okay, you know what, I'm on board. How would you like me to help? That thing is going to multiply. I kid you not. There are so many, you can go look it up, so many celebrities that have had that, probably people that's in your life have had it happen to them. That is a thing. When a healthy woman who knows, her role and what she's supposed to be doing gets with a healthy man and he has leadership and direction, that thing blows up, honey. And they are able to accomplish a lot together. And so that is really what this conversation is about. Women and men realizing that together you are more dominant than you are separately. Like you can take over more together than apart. I don't think people really know that because society pushes, being independent, being an individual, and that's fine. That's fine. It's good to have your individuality, but the things that you can accomplish with two people is greater than one. That also is biblical for those who are Christian. It's biblical. It's in the Word. You can read that. But it is very true. So leadership for a man is very, very necessary. And I know that it puts a lot of pressure on men because you all already have pressure, but from outside forces, especially our Black men, um, there's pressure from all sides, from, just being a Black man, from you dealing with societal issues, how they view you, maybe your work, all of that. I had that conversation is actually on my YouTube channel too, where I talk about Black men hurt. We will have a part 2 following up to that one. And if you would like to be a part of that conversation, just send me a message and I will send you more information. But yes, so men go through a plethora of things on a day-to-day basis, especially our Black men, like I was saying before. But, as a man, it is also your job to, if you didn't have that male figure, to try to figure out whether it's get a mentor, talk to your the elders, the men that are in your family. You don't have any men that are in your family that you can talk to. Just think about other outside male role models who actually, have some sense, not these ones that be on YouTube talking crazy. Because there's a lot of that. There's a lot of dysfunctional people with platforms talking crazy about then they're male bashing and woman bashing. I'm not condoning. But what I am saying is men have to be assertive in their role and figure out what it is that they're supposed to be doing so that they can have healthy relationships with women and understand what it is to have that healthy relationship. The one example that I do use, because I know people are like, what does that really look like? And if I didn't have it, then I can't have it. That's not true because my father did it. He did it. He didn't have his dad around. He knew what he wanted, and that's what he did. He was married to my mom until he passed. 20 something years they were married, so he did it. You could do it too. Like, it's possible. And she was a dominant woman. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna be honest. Like, you know, she was very dominant and assertive and knowing what she wanted and all of those different things. So we can't make the comparison of, oh, this didn't happen back in the day. Oh, this, what? There are different things that happen in different households. So you have some where people grew up with grandmothers who were dominant, and then you have some households that grew up with grandmothers who weren't. You have some that grew up with dominant mothers and, dominant husbands. You know, you had different dynamics. So everybody's dynamics and what they saw and growing up is different. But if you truly want something different from what you saw, like if you didn't have that male role model to show you what you're supposed to do, or if you didn't have that mother figure to show you what to do or how to be a mother, like, there are places and people and spaces that you can go to get those things. Like, if you don't have a mother that's solely in your life, there might be a grandmother, auntie. Ask questions like, how do you do X, Y, and Z? If you see married couples, and this is the thing, I've had conversations outside of my parents, of course. My dad is no longer here, but I had conversations being a teenager, talking to him about certain things, including he talked to me about relationships, but like, you can go to married people and ask them, how do you do it? Now, what they say may not necessarily apply to your life. You can take, I say this, taking what you need to dispose of the rest, but they can give you nuggets on what their process is, what they do, what issues have they had to overcome, because it's not easy. I don't understand why people think that it's easy, because it look like it is, but it's really not. Because if you are a person that has your own mind, your own way of doing things, and then you get with somebody that has their own mind, their own way of doing things, then you both are going to be, probably strong-minded people. But if the both of you are able to come to some type of common ground, and you both are operating in your roles, doing the work even separately, but also doing work together in order to be cohesive, you can have a different outcome. It's very possible. You don't have to have the same outcome as your friends who might be divorced. You don't have to have the same outcome as whoever else, Joe Blow down the street and his wife. Like, you don't have to have that same outcome. You can have something completely different, but you have to know that you can have something different. And that's the thing. Like, if you want something different, you have to determine in your mind that you are going to have that. Just like when you wanted, that new car that you saved up for, that new house that you bought, maybe the apartment that you got, maybe the new Jordans that came out, maybe, the new Gucci, whatever it is, you are determined to get it. It's the same thing. The only difference is humans can be a little bit more complicated, but if you are determined to be with that person and you think that that person is your person and you want to make it work, you're going to put in the work. You're going to put in the work, and that person will put in the work equally if that's what they want. Now, speaking to the toxicity, because I know there'll be some people that are like, well, I tried this. I went and I dated these people. I went out with this person. People don't appreciate this. And you're going to have that. you're going to have people that don't appreciate you. If you're dating, you're going to come across it. Like, it's not a new concept. But there will be people that actually appreciate you and the value that you bring to them, the things that you add to their life. They will appreciate that. The person that really wants to be with you will appreciate that, and the person that don't, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. I know that sounds real old and country, but it is so true. Like, you got to know when, especially when you in your 30s and 40s, you ain't got time to be out here playing in these streets, in this traffic with all of this craziness. If something ain't gelling well with your spirit, and I'm going to just say this because this is the place that I'm at, if it ain't gelling, I ain't going. I'm not going to go past go, because I know for me, it's not going to work because I already felt it. But if I know that it's somebody that, especially if it's somebody that is putting in the work, that's the person that you invest your time into. If you clearly see that the person is putting in the work, you clearly see that they are, trying to have a better understanding of you, getting to know you better. I say put in the work for that person and see where it goes. Don't sit there and hold back and make all these goofy comparisons to what did or didn't work in the past, because you just never know. That might be the person that's for you. That's all I'm gonna say, because it's so many people that's stuck on their past. We got to leave that back there. You can't get caught up in what didn't work. Okay, it didn't. Now what you gonna do? Be a better person for the person that you're supposed to be with. Because maybe that person was just there to teach you a lesson. Maybe that person was just there, to show you who you are and how much growth you have made, like how much you have done, or whatever the internal work you have done to yourself. Maybe that person was there to show you that. Like, I'm in a different place, I require something different. Sometimes they show you that, and it's okay. Take the lesson and just keep going. It's nothing wrong with that. We get too tied up in what didn't work. It's not a failure, it's a lesson. It is not a failure, it's a lesson. Every relationship is a lesson. We have to stop looking, hello. We have to stop looking at relationships and different things that we set out to do as failures. No, if it didn't plan out, or if it didn't happen the way that you planned it, it's a lesson. So just take it, understand what you were supposed to learn from that lesson, and move on. Maybe it was there to teach you that maybe you need to grow. Sometimes we have made growth, and then there's other times where we didn't. There's some areas where somebody will show us and we like, oh, maybe I need to get me together, honey, because maybe I'm not all the way together as I thought. Sometimes we have those relationships that show us that, and we don't want to admit it, but it's the truth. And it's okay. It is okay, because just as long as you're making progress and you're working on yourself and doing the work, that is the greatest thing. Because whenever that person comes along, oh honey, you're gonna be ready. You are gonna be ready. They gonna be ready. Hopefully, prayerfully, we're gonna pray in Jesus' name that they're gonna be ready for you and all that you bring, all of the value that you bring. And I talked about that. Adding value to somebody's life is very important. Don't just go taking up time, soaking up time. Baby, we ain't got as much time. We already see there's so many people that's not even here. We don't have that much time. So stop wasting time. You don't waste your time, entertaining foolishness from somebody, because while you wasting time entertaining foolishness and inadequacies and inconsistencies from somebody else, there is another person that's going to do everything that you need. Everything that's on that list that you want and desire out of that person, it's going to be somebody that check most of them boxes off. Now, if you got the crazy checklist where you want him to make like $1 million and all that other stuff, I don't know what to tell you, because there ain't a lot of millionaires running around here like that, but where he has his spiritual life together, or he knows how to lead, he has direction, he knows where he's going in life, he knows what he wants, he knows that he wants a family, he knows that he wants a wife, he knows that he wants to own this type of house, he's financially responsible. Did I say relationship with God? He got to have a relationship with God for me. I just feel like if a man has a relationship with God, or whatever his higher power is that he believes in, there is some type of guidance there. For me, it's God. For whoever else, whatever you believe, that's what you believe. But if he has that relationship and he is constantly seeking him, that's a wonderful thing, because I don't feel like a man can lead a woman in a family if he don't have a basis in God. That's just my opinion. Other people can say what they want, but I just don't see how that would work, because who's guiding, who's leading, who's directing? Just like the clip I put up, where is it coming from? If he is not led by anything, he's probably walking around trying to figure it out. And who got time for that? We ain't got time for that. No. Mm-mm. I think that men have to be more intentional, though. Hello, about being a leader and being more assertive and understanding what they're supposed to do so that they can attract women. I don't understand why men don't understand this. If you want a woman that's feminine, if you want somebody to be all of that feminine energy that you want, catering and doing all this stuff, you got to give her something to be catering to. You can't just show up like, I'm here, I'm man, hear me roar. Like, what? Baby, that ain't how that works. Ain't nobody this just like a job. You don't just get a job because you show up to the interview. No, they got to see, okay, are you qualified? Do you meet this criteria? It's the same thing. If you ain't meeting a leadership criteria, then why is she wasting her time? You got to take a step back, and men have to know when to step back and say, you know what? I'm not there yet. So let me get me together. And then, because I really like you, I'm really digging you, let me get me together. And then I'll come back when I got me together. Because right now, I don't want to be all over the place. I'm not there, but I know that you're it for me. You know what I mean? Like that part. Admit some stuff. Admit that. Don't be stringing women along and having them out here going crazy in their heads about what it could be and what it's not. And then they got to make all these decisions and they all stressed out. Life is stressful in itself. Let's make it easy on everybody. You operate in your role, your position, you lead, you guide, you give her the play-by-play. This is what we doing, this is what we going. If y'all not quite at marriage and y'all in the dating phases, then honey, plan them dates and make them good. Make them some nice dates. You ain't got to go to Tahiti and all that, but be creative. Google is your best friend. Find something different. If you all tired of going to the show, you don't want to Netflix and chill because you did that, you done been to the same restaurant, maybe try a picnic, maybe try a walk. Whatever she has told you, and this is why I was saying, like, communication is very important, especially when you're in the dating phases, so that you get a better understanding of that person, right? So that you understand how they speak, what their language is, how they love, what the expectation is, where you all are going. You find these things out, the likes and the dislikes, and you have to find out, okay, what is it that you like to do in your spare time? If it's listening to music, take her to go listen to music, maybe a jazz club, maybe a play, what whatever it is, be creative. We like that. Most women like that. I'm just saying, she may not want to hike up a mountain. I mean, if she ain't an athletic chick, don't expect her to be hiking up no mountains. But you can plan a picnic, with fruit or whatever, or if you go biking or walking, whatever it is, like just be creative. We just looking for you to plan. So then we know, okay, he got this. Okay, then I could just be cute. And that's what I did when I was dating guys that were operating in that capacity. I just love getting dressed and going out. That's it, that's all. Get dressed, go out. I'm showing up. What we doing? He already got it planned. Don't worry about it. Just I'll pick you up at 7. Okay. We like that. We like it. We love it. We actually love it. Even when you married, do it when you married. It keeps it spicy. It keeps it. Don't stop. Don't stop dating. No matter how long you all have been together. No matter if you're in a marriage, you should date because it really keeps the relationship um going. It really helps with her to feel like you love her. That's the other part. I think that men don't understand. They think that because they're with somebody, it's understood how they feel. That's not it. For us, we need to hear you say it, and we need you to show it. All of that is understood is not good enough. Express it in verbal and physical, where you're actually planning dates, giving her flowers, um, considering the things that she likes. And in turn, a healthy woman will do the same thing. She'll be like, okay, he told me that this was his favorite team. Let me go get tickets for this man. Let me show my man, that I really appreciate him because he done stepped it up. He's doing this, he's doing that. Let me just show him, how I really feel about him. Like if you do it, men by example, lead by example, lead by example. If you want her to show how she feels, because there are men now that's like, well, just show me you care about me, show me you love me. If you're not showing her, then what's she gonna show you? Because she looking like, well, you ain't invested in me, so why am I investing in you? If you show her, then you know you don't know what you're gonna get. Let me chart. Let me put this up here. You don't know what you're gonna get. But I think that a lot of women would do out of the kindness of their heart if men actually did, led, like show, just like that song, show it, prove it, say it, do it, that part. I don't think y'all really know. That's how women think for real. We need action. Women, we need action around whatever's going on. We need y'all to act on it. We don't want you to just be talking. We want you to act on it. And for a woman, if you, let me just say, if you show that you got your direction, you're acting on it, she gonna fall right into that thing, honey. You gonna have her. I got friends now. It's worked for them. That's all I have to say. I gave them the same advice. My friends I booed up. That's all I got to say. And they have been single for some time, and they're booed up. So I think that what I'm saying really works. It really works. And I get godly counsel. So that's also a plus. And I've had life experiences, my own experiences. Um, I was engaged, like, I've said before, And it didn't really go as planned. Like, we were together for a minute, and there was some things he wasn't ready. Like, he thought he was ready, but he wasn't ready, because what was lacking for me is the leadership. And so, um, I just I just can't. If I'm going to say yes to somebody, that leadership got to be that, honey. And I have to know that you know what you want. You know, you can say, look, I am doing X, Y, and Z. I researched X, Y, and Z. I already have a plan. You done executed the plan, whatever the case may be. That part, that for me, that works. But if you don't know and you talking about let's get married, that is not gonna work. Because I'm like, okay, well, get married and then do what? And then what's gonna happen? Like, so yeah, that is actually what a lot of women are looking for. And so this is just a conversation to make both more aware of what's going on, and for men to get clarity on what women are really expecting and why they're expecting it. Because if we're working 9 to 5s, dealing with men, if we're making the bread and we're, you know, coming home and paying the bills and taking care of cars and buying cars and getting deals and signing contracts, like those are really like actually male activities by definition of society. Back in the day, like, men were the ones doing all of that, but now women are doing that. Why? Because you know we are not getting married as earlier as once before. you know we're accomplishing more things than before. Our grandparents probably did not um have the education level or accomplish the different things that we set out to accomplish. So life is different. So we can't go based on what the old idea of everything was. It would be nice, like, if you are with somebody that is, let's just say, for a woman, if she's with a man that provides and all of that kind of stuff, then she could take a step back from all of that. I mean, I don't know if I would want that though, because in my mind I have all of my goals, so I would still want to be accomplishing my goals. So it'd be fine for the providing piece, but I got my own goals, so I don't know about that one. But there are women who don't want to work and they want to be at home. Can't see myself as a stay-at-home mom. I think that's I don't want to be a kid with kids all day. I just don't like. That is not my ministry. I'm like, I want to go. I want to have, my own life and do what I do, and then come home and I can handle other duties. But to be at home all day talking to little ones all day, baby, because, when I was doing stepmommy duties, your girl was over here like in the midst of in the midst of the lockdown. It was like I am talking baby talk, watching these ABCs, 1, 2, 3, Coco Melon. I was like, child, I don't see how stay-at-home moms do it. I don't see kudos to y'all, because I was like, outside, baby, outside. Let me get there. But yeah, like, if a woman truly desires that and she gets that, then you know, kudos to her. But for majority of women, we do want providing, but a lot of us still have our own goals and things like that. But we want to feel like we're being taken care of, because that's technically the role that a husband is supposed to um take on. Like, the purpose and I know that this is kind of for some, I be getting a little spiritual, but you're gonna be all right. When marriage happens and the woman is being walked down the aisle, her father is giving her away. The father giving that woman away is to say, hey, I have been taking care of this woman. This is my daughter. I have provided and protected her, but now I am turning the reins over to you. So you provide, you protect my daughter, you take care of her and make sure that she's okay. That is the reason why you have that in the whole wedding ceremony piece where the father walks the bride down the aisle and gives her away. Is symbolization of turning over the duties. And so when you assuming those duties, then Negro, step up to them duties, okay? I'm just gonna say it, just like I be talking to my male friends. Get it together. Step up, do what you got to do. Now you're not gonna have, and men will always come back like, but there's women that I don't want to hear that, because there are a lot of women out here that are not like those women. You just choosing those women, and I talked about that. So you can go to my YouTube channel. There's a video on that too. You stop choosing these unhealthy people. Because when you choose these unhealthy people, then you get stuck in decisions, and then you over here like, oh, well, they not this and they not that. Like, I experienced this, they didn't appreciate it. Like, you won't have that if you date differently. If you stop dating based on how big somebody's booty is, or if women stop dating on how fat his bank account is and start looking at characters of people, it will make things just so much better. And when people actually step into the roles that they're supposed to be in, instead of, you got too many, this is gonna have to be another conversation, but it's too many moms trying to be friends with their kids. They out here twerking on all of these different social media platforms. I don't remember my mama doing none of that. I don't know no mamas from the 80s with babies from the 80s or 90s that was doing all that extra stuff. It wasn't a thing. I don't understand why women now making it a thing. But if you want a husband, you can't be doing that. That's all I'm gonna say. You can, have fun with your pictures, spice it up a little bit, but you can't be out here showing your black butt for a husband, because when a husband don't want his woman revealed to everybody, like, he don't want her to be out here butt naked for the world to see. Like that, you got some perverted men, but that is not the majority. Most men don't want to see that. They want their woman to look a certain type of way. She can be sexy, but there's a limitation. So y'all got to get that together, because there's a lot of mixed signals going on around these parts. But to my point, know what your role is, operate in that role, and you will attract the right person. If you are healthy, if you have done your work, as I said before in my previous video, if you have done the work, then you will be with someone who's on the same page, that is healthy. You will be able to recognize that person, and you all can, get together and get married and have babies and do all of that. But you have to make sure that you're operating the way that you're supposed to operate. Men, you got to become decisive. You got to seek wise counsel and operate how you're supposed to be operating, because it will make a world of a difference in your relationship with a woman. It will make a world of a difference. And she will be able to be more softer, be more catering. You can get what you want if you giving what she needs. That's all I'm saying about that. So that is the conversation. I see nobody all the people that came in, but then y'all ain't left no comments. Nobody had anything they wanted to contribute. But that's fine. Maybe next week. So I'll see you back here next week. Thank you all for viewing this. I'm going to post this up on my YouTube channel, Crown Convos with Tiana and Michelle. And let me do the shout out because my lashes, my lashes and my hair is Bella Lux. I'm actually also doing an affirmations challenge. The book drops tomorrow, so you will be able to get a copy of that. It drops tomorrow at noon. I made an affirmations guide with all of these different affirmations, and when I tell you, honey, it has worked, baby. It has worked, and prayer, but prayer and my affirmations. My affirmations, I've been praying, but affirmations really affirm you, really give you confidence and change your mindset, around different things. Like a lot, like I was saying, a lot of the things that we've experienced, we have internalized them as negative experiences or failures and things like that. But when you do affirmations that affirm you, that help your confidence, and you start walking in that, it makes a world of a difference. So it don't matter what you done been through, baby, you gonna be able to snap right back after you done did some affirmations. And men can do affirmations too, because y'all need them. Y'all need y'all encouragement. Hello, hello. You need your dose of your boost of encouragement, to help you throughout your day, to help you succeed, to be better fathers, to be, just better people in general, but have a positive mindset no matter what is going on. So that ebook actually drops tomorrow at noon. So the link will be in the bio at noon tomorrow. But this conversation was just so that we could talk about what is really going on, and to actually help men to understand what women are feeling as far as the need for leadership. Women have to see that in order for a woman to actually follow, a woman has to feel like her man has a clear plan and direction for where they're supposed to go, where they're supposed to be as a family, what the end game is, all of those different things. Now, I'm not saying, like I said before, that every woman appreciates that, but a healthy woman will appreciate that. She's not going to fight you on that. Once you have shown that you are a person that has leadership abilities, you got the playbook, you giving the plays, and we just running them, like, it works. And she'll just operate in her feminine energy and and give you the things that you want, peace of mind, because she ain't got nothing to nag you about, because y'all be good for that one. Oh, she's nagging because she wants you to do. She wants you to execute. That's all. That's all. Now, you got some that just nag about everything, but I'm saying there are women who just want you to execute, and you ain't executed. So they just, they like, come on, bring, give me something to work with, baby. That's what they saying. But I will see you back here next week. It might be back at the 8 o'clock time. I'll let you know. I was just working on 100 million things. That's why I had to push it back to 8:30, because sis had a gang of stuff going on today. Like, a lot of different things had to get done, so I had to push it back. But next week we might be back at 8:30. So I will see you all next week. You all have a good night. Bye.